And just like that, everyone kneeled. Even me. This wouldn't be unusual if it wasn't for the fact that none of it was intentional. In perfect sync with everyone else, my body just moved on its own. And now, I found myself bowing down to the telepathy twins. My name is Pacifica Northwest. I'm 12 years old and I live in Gravity Falls, Oregon. It's an okay place. I'll give you a tour if you'd like. Well, either way, I'm still grabbing my bike. My blonde ponytail flapped in the breeze I created as I rode my bike around town. There's the arcade, the pool, that biker joint, and of course the woods. Yeah, this is pretty much one of those blink and you miss it kind of places. A pretty small town in the woods. Could be worse. Anyways, I heard that there's a new kid in town. Might as well check it out. It's not that I actually care, but might as well know what happens around town. Okay, I've heard that he's going to be stuck in the mystery shack all summer. Might as well try there. I enter the shack, finding an unfamiliar face at the counter. Rumors confirmed. It's a little 9-year-old boy with albino white hair peeking out from his hat. His outfit was just a simple blue and black hoodie with jeans. We became fast friends, and his name's Gideon Gleeful, by the way. With permission from Bud Gleeful, who is apparently his dad, I got to show Gideon around town. Everything was going smoothly until they come into the picture. Oh yeah, these guys, I sighed with venom and disgust. Coming up to us were the Pine Twins. I believe they did prefer the Telepathy Twins. There was Mabel, the popular girl who doesn't even deserve it. She's always too optimistic about everything, it's annoying. And she accepts virtually everyone. Weirdos shouldn't be popular in my book. Popularity should have some higher standards. Mabel and the rest of the weirdos in this town don't fit the bill. As if that isn't the worst part, she's always cheating. It's always either fake crying to get everyone to take pity on her, or her little powers. You read that right, powers. The Telepathy Twins got their name for being child psychics. That brings us to Dipper, the true psychic of the pair. I'm not kidding. He seems far more dedicated to the role of a child psychic than his sister. While Mabel is just some popular girl wannabe, he was always focused on his psychic abilities. He actually scares me a little. He just gives out the impression of being willing to do virtually anything for what he wants. It wasn't anything he said or did. It was just this feeling he brought with him. After a rather short conversation, the twins finally left. Both were eyeing Gideon. Dipper's stare was much more suspicious, cunning, not to mention creepy. I always got a bad feeling about the guy. He's willing to do virtually anything for what he wants. It scares me. Mabel just gave the guy a flirty wink. You have got to be kidding me. Her? With him? Oh, God. I told him more about the two. They virtually have everything. No joke. They are the richest people in town. And I'm related to the town father, for God's sake. Anything you can name, those twins have it. Fancy furniture, a horse called Innovator, the list goes on. Give the book back to us, Dipper roared, clutching amulets so tight his knuckles were white. Guess who got caught up in a game of tug-of-war? As you can probably picture, Dipper the creepy psychic is using his amulet's telekinesis to yank Book 3 away from us, and we cling to it like a dog in its chew toy. As for Mabel, she's just sitting on a random boulder enjoying the show. Clearly, she doesn't give a care about the book. I honestly don't think Dipper should get Book 3. Number 2 alone has been made him pretty powerful. Having both would make him pretty scary. I'm honestly scared about what he would do with more power than he already has. Terrified, even. Mabel, need a little help here. he called to his lazy sis. Can't do things by yourself, I see. After a moment's hesitation, the jade amulet on her headband started to gleam. Don't forget the 3 weeks' allowance you're gonna owe me, she reminded her brother, as a sudden force ripped the book from our hands and we went and flat on our faces. Literally, of course. And that was the night book 3 had been stolen from us. Speaking of books, here's the next chapter. During the following few days, Gideon had been nothing but furious over the loss. I, on the other hand, had been just plain sad. One night I sat in my room, a little bit scared. It wasn't really for my sake, though. I remember Gideon announcing his plans to steal the book back. He offered to let me come with him, but I refused. Still, I hope he will be all right. With this hope in mind, I forced myself into having a rather restless sleep. The following day, I found the town to be in quite a frenzy. What the heck is going on? The biggest crowd was by the edge of the forest. Forcing myself towards the front, I find a rather scary sight. On the ground was the outline of a dead body. Who died? I asked a random stranger. The answer is what frightened me to tears. Gideon is the one who died. I was immediately crying. My friend, the little albino kid visiting for the summer, had just died. I'm sorry for your loss, a voice interrupted my train of thought. I looked up to find Mabel, her makeup running from all those tears. All right, she liked them, as I'm liked them. What happened? I asked in between sobs. I don't know. I was going for my morning jog when I just found him dead, was the story she gave me. She sounded so sincere to me, if it wasn't for the fact that those green eyes told a different story. Hey, they were sad, of course, just a different kind. A sadness I had never seen, filled with so many tears I'd be surprised if she could cry anymore. And all that pain they held, it told me that there was something more, something she could never share. Looking over at her brother, I saw something different. He was unusually calm about his enemy's death. The way he narrowed those green eyes at the outline, the creepy frown, he doesn't seem capable of not scaring me. Either way, I didn't see any sign of sadness. He then looked at me from the corner of his eye. It was a rather chilling glare. It seemed to shout an unnamed threat. Either way, there's no avoiding that command when it's announced. I think Dipper Pines has something to do with Gideon's death. The evidence and facts just keep piling up around him. Sadly, it seems like I'm the only one who knows of this. He thinks he can have whatever he wants, doesn't he? Well, technically Mabel does too, but she never went as far as to steal for her needs. When Gideon went back for the book, the action alone was like a kingdom disobeying their ruler. The end result is what I had woken up to. He just went and disposed of him. And that look he gave me, not only was it threatening, but it also screamed disgust. I stood to the side, watching people continue to respect him the way they do. His powers, his illusions, he's got the entire town charmed. They treat him like a dainty flower, and he treated me like I was an unwanted weed. Still, even though I decided to stay, the fear that keeps me silent serves him as I decay away. Well, that episode's over. I've been too scared to tell a soul about the truth, or at least what I think is the truth. I wasn't there. Just like any other day, I sat to the side and observed everything. This is long afterwards, by the way. Today is the mystery fair, and I don't think those sky trains are stable. Sitting at the bench, I enjoyed my cotton candy. Nearby, I observed a scene that plays quite the role in this story. Hey, Wendy. the young sidekick approached the older redhead with such confidence. The teen turned to face the younger boy, revealing her rather dark eyeliner. Well, this isn't exactly unusual. Wendy Corduroy is known for being that goth girl in the band. But in the way she was like 12. Yeah, Dipper, she responded, sounding rather bored. Don't blame her. This pair really stinks. I've never seen so many broken rides in one place. How would you like the honor of going have a date with me? I watched him ask her out. This got virtually everyone's attention, including me. The entire pair watched her amused black lipstick smile. Thanks for the offer, dork, but I'm going to have to say no, were her words. Now, this may be my imagination, but is Dipper's lip quivering? What would your reasons be? He then pressed on. Sounds a little forced to me. I already like someone else. The lumberjack's son, actually, she explained. It was then her amusement turned to worry. You're not going to freak out or anything, are you? She asked. It was that moment his twitching eye was placed by an understanding's mask. Of course not. These things happen, he laughed it off. Wendy then smiled a freckled smile. I'm glad you understand, she said before turning around in her skinny jeans. Dipper did the same, his cape flapping in the air. The day at the fair went along as normal. Well, sorta. Mabel and I had a little competition over who gets this pig we both wanted. I honestly don't know how that carny guy can question it for witches. Everyone knows that Mabel is one. I personally would switch to W with B since she fake right her way to the prize. Settling was the prize of a chicken. I accidentally end up as a witness to something I shouldn't. I was only outside one of the portable toilets when I heard voices coming from the inside. Curiosity got the best of me as I pressed my ear against the walls of the plastic thing that honestly stinks a little. Why was I here again? Never mind that. I heard a very quiet Dipper voice speaking, and I barely made out the words. It's all you have to do is ruin the lumberjack's son. And it was then my eyes widened in terror. I was honestly horrified. He has selected his next target. Someone's going to die. And Wendy didn't even specify which guy she was interested in. And there's more than one lumberjack in Gravity Falls, and most have more than one son. They are all in trouble. Distracted by my fear, I didn't hear the rest of the conversation until the door started to creak open. I was rather quick to hide behind the portable toilet, watching Dipper and Mabel leave. Again, I was afraid, scared for all the lives in danger. But what can I do? Anytime Gideon and I would talk about our adventures, people would always toss us aside and claim we're crazy. They wouldn't believe me if I started telling them that the twins were evil. Plus, what would happen to me? Soon the day came. Everyone watched in horror as the jade-colored flames consumed the homes of every local lumberjack. If you listened hard enough, you could hear the screams of dying people. Soon enough, the firemen came. By now, the twins have joined the crowd. Looked like their work is done. While the flames were being put out, the stretchers came out. Body after body came out, several dead, few in the process of dying. The loudest sobs, in my opinion, came from the local rock star. Wendy's eyeliner was now a runny mess as she cried by Robbie B's side. The lumberjack's son was badly burnt. You could barely recognize him. Normally, you'd see him climbing a random tree, or even riding them with his jet black hair whipping in his face and his green plaid shirt unbuttoned and flapping in the wind. Now, I don't think I should even describe his burned-up state. I'm just positive he won't live to see the hospital. And just like that, Robbie B, along with most of his victims, had died that night. As usual, I watched Dipper and Mabel enjoy their popularity. True, Mabel was the most liked person in town for some strange reason, but that didn't mean people didn't respect Dipper the same. I have watched Dipper become even more powerful than ever. I'd be surprised if he could get any more. As if he wasn't scary enough. This evil flower has bloomed to what could be its peak, and all everyone does is admire those rather maniacal colors. I can't entirely blame this town, though. Disgusted as I am, I admit to being under their charm as well. Mabel, I guess I envy her a little. Repeat that, and I'll feed you to McDuck's Wobblewonker robot. I mean, Mabel is pretty and fun. Her optimism lights up a depressed room. Dipper is pretty nice as well upon first glance. He's also kind of adorable in looks. The guy is one of the most intelligent people you could ever meet. Those psychic powers are merely a bonus. Despite these qualities the twins have, once you learn the dark side, they can be hard to forgive. Mabel, though slightly annoying, shares her brother's brains. She's always cheating to get what she wants. Always. She's willing to lie and fool everyone to reach her pretty little goals. She's just a toxic rainbow. Dipper, though, is the true psychic of evil. Mabel's goals are always along the lines of popularity in boys, and her actions are that of the stereotypical popular blonde bitch in the movies. Dipper, though, makes her look like a bratty child having a tantrum. His goals are mostly power-hungry related, and he's more forceful when reaching those goals. He has far more power than Mabel, and is using it recklessly and dangerously. It's scary. This entire garden proceeds to respect and admire these pretty flowers. However, there are still those thorns in the ways. As long as they stay in place, you can never truly connect with those two, not without getting hurt. I can't take this. I am at the boiling point. Mabel's cries can easily be excused as a nuisance. Dipper, however, is a completely different story. He has thieved, lied, and murdered. How he's getting away with this is beyond me. Still, he shouldn't be. It's wrong and inhuman in every way, shape, or form. Slowly but surely, I share my story. The truth. True, they are only whispers in the ear, but they seem pretty effective. Soon enough, I almost have the entire town on my side. "Hey, Pacifica," one of my friends whispered to me one day. I did nothing but listen on her words. "Why don't you lead us in the revolution?" the girl in the blue striped shirt said. And here we are. Nearly the entire town has gathered for this with me in the lead. Few staying behind in their homes. With my blonde hair and a pigtail, I came with a special spider just for this occasion. The red color representing blood and sacrifice, the weight being a symbol of justice. Sword in hand, I am more than ready for this. The crowd roared angry behind me. I have never seen so much anger and hatred in one place. No one here would fear the telepathy twins. Everyone with their own shares of injustice caused by the twins added to my story. With these large numbers and anger by our side, we shall not fail. After removing his family and bodyguards, we had the entire place surrounded. Accompanied by Wendy and a few other people, we raced in through this maze they call home. Along the way, I believe we passed by a fleeing Mabel, who I think was starting to tear up. Not our problem right now. None of us should let the pity and guilt get the girl what she wants. I think she was smart enough to know that, since she did nothing to stop us. Soon enough we found the bedroom where Dipper had been waiting. The 12-year-old boy had his chocolate brown hair combed to show off his Big Dipper constellation birthmark. His bright green eyes gleamed that wicked gleam. He wore nothing but his usual cyan-colored suit with that white cape that has a creepy star on that back. I do not know why, but that star always has to have that all-seeing eye on it. It creeps me out sometimes. Then again, now that I think about it, those guys are virtually everywhere. That's a different story. His entire look was tied together by a simple white tie that had his amulet on it. He did little to fight back, using telekinesis to fling pillows and makeup at us. Too weak to fight your own battles, huh? A summer's worth of hanging out with Gideon had prepared me for this. Dodging and slicing through the objects he launched at us, I quickly got behind him and put my blade by his neck. "How disrespectful!" his voice cracked, sounding higher pitched than usual if you listened close enough. Leading the evil psychic out of the mansion, the entire town cheers in delight. Removing his tie, we celebrate our success with the destruction of his amulet and its powers. He did nothing to resist, watching me smash the gem and the jade-colored light vanish. And just like that, everything Dipper had, his family, his powers, his home, his reign of terror, was stripped away. I wish I did this before so many lives were lost, not to mention a good portion of the economy. I remember that time when summer began. An albino kid moved here temporarily. We were fast friends. Together we discovered Gravity Falls' dark side. However, out of all the gnomes and wax figures and ghosts, that local 12-year-old psychic could dictate of being the most mysterious and scary. Back at home, I'm enveloped by relieved hugs. You know, this isn't the first time I've almost been killed, Mom and Dad. You gotta pay more attention to your only daughter. Earlier on, we had dropped Dipper off at the county jail. Speaking of police, Blubs and Durling were so useless they did virtually nothing. Why else do you think the town had to take it in their own hands with a 12-year-old girl as the leader? Back at Dipper, we agreed that his execution shall be scheduled for 3 o'clock tomorrow. That's when the church bells would ring. Perfect timing. Still, you can't help but wonder what thoughts that ex-psychic has as he rots away in his cell. Finally, I have been awaiting this. Standing on that stage we used for Pioneer Day, we got some guillotine that I didn't even know existed. Nonetheless, it's the perfect punishment. This stage had been surrounded by pretty much the entire town. The citizens parted for me in my red Justice sweater dress. The one I have hung up had being Dipper Pines himself. He still has done nothing to resist this punishment. I personally have no problem with this. Secured in the guillotine, we await the last few minutes ticking away. His green eyes looking to no one, his final words were this: "Ah, it's tea time." The very second those words were said with the chiming bells, the blade had dropped and brought an end to everything. My thoughts? What the heck? Those are his last words? No begging, no apology, not even an angry shout? What the heck? The evil flower has died. Those vivid petals scattered as we walked all over those remains. Deborah Pines has now become no more than a memory. Time went on peacefully since that day. Time after time I'd hear people speak of the evil boy. They were all words of relief and happiness. They all believed that he deserved it all. He was not just a boy, and he was not just some unpopular tourist attraction. Oh, he was truly the psychic of evil.